episode 8 of the Unnamed Games podcast, coming at you every week with all different chats and talks and bits and bobs about games and movies and all stuff in that kind of realm. This week, we are going to talk a little bit about the Cyberpunk delay, a bit about some stuff with Halo Infinite, and then we've got some discussion points, and then we've got a very special quiz right at the end as well. But before we move on to that, today with me, I have Mr. Philip Thompson, Speed Freak Phil. How are you, my man?
You're right.
What was that?
Just felt like, you're right. You're right.
You trying to coin a new catchphrase?
No, definitely not.
I liked it. I think you should do it. And also we have with us Chris Ratley, Mr. Ratster. How are you, my friend?
Good evening, good evening, good evening.
Nice. Another good catchphrase, potentially. I like it.
No.
And then moving on to our very special guest, we have the lovely Elli Howlett. Some would say the best of the Howletts. Her name, Eternal Poison, is her gamer tag. How are you, Elli?
Hi, and thank you for having me.
Oh, no, you're more than welcome. It's nice to have a lady on the podcast because it's just a bunch of boys talking rubbish. Maybe you can kind of keep us in check a little bit.
Yeah, it's a bit
Oh, somebody's phone's ringing in the background there. That's not good. Who was that?
Guilty.
Terrible
Phone on
person.
silent any other time. Jules doesn't ring me for like the best part of 3 months, and he rings me during recording the podcast.
Yeah, we get a guest in, and this is the level of respect you show the guest by leaving your phone on, Phil. I mean,
Oi, don't
come
get
on.
down that route. Don't go down that route.
It's
Naughty
fine, I
Phil.
know my place.
I
It's
feel
fine.
shame enough as it is. I apologise profusely.
Anyway, moving back, Elli, as you know, because you have listened to several of the podcasts, we ask all our guests 3 questions, and I'm going to ask them to you. So the first question is, Elli, what is your favourite movie?
This one's really easy. It's got to be Nightmare Before Christmas.
I had a feeling you'd say something like that.
How did you know? Shocking. Even my wedding was themed as Nightmare Before Christmas. We watch it every year. Yeah, totally obsessed.
Yeah, easy one for you, I think, that one. So moving next then to your favourite TV show.
This one is really hard. I don't even know how you could possibly pick one. If I go by things that I've watched the most, I would have to say it'd actually be a bit random as Looney Tunes.
Nice.
Got me through many miserable parts of my life. It's something that I can stick on at any point and quite happily watch, that I can kill time with. It's also a good one when I'm feeling ill to just stick some Looney Tunes on. Yeah, so I think I'll go with that one.
Nice, good choice. And finally, last but definitely not least, what's your favourite game?
This one's quite easy. For me, it has to be Metal Gear Solid 2, Sons of Liberty.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, I would go for Metal Gear Solid, but I think I'm going to go for the one I've spent the most hours on, which is number 2. I've completed that game inside and out. Definitely my favourite genre, the action-adventure third person. And unlike my husband, I do actually love the fact that there's huge cutscenes and a huge overarching story, even though he moans incessantly about the fact that it's all cutscenes.
Yes.
No, he's muddling that with Metal
same as
Gear
me.
4.
Yeah.
Don't start
Metal Gear
crying.
4 is just a movie with some gameplay in between.
Yeah, that's it.
I still
Kojima
love
have a
it.
go at being a director. So just another follow-up question for you then. Not one to put you on the spot. So what platforms do you tend to generally game on?
At the moment, I'm Xbox One, and
Yep.
I still have some old games like for the Xbox 360. Unlike you guys, I can't play multiple games at once. I start a game and I will play it until I've completely finished it and then move on to the next one. So I have a huge back catalogue of games, and I'm currently playing Alice Madness Returns for the Xbox 360 that I have had in the catalogue for years and haven't got around to playing. I also have Nintendo Switch. I spent rather a lot of time on as well.
Yeah, I think you were weren't you quite a fan? Was it Animal Crossing you were playing?
Yes, I got completely obsessed with that earlier in the year.
Yeah. I think it was
So
it was
you
like a
won, like, half
massive
the planet,
wave.
so-
Yeah, everyone was playing that
for
game.
Sure.
Don't
Yeah.
ask me why. It just became a compulsion in the end.
That's that kind of
Yeah.
game, isn't it? You just kind of start playing it, and then you just go, I don't know why. I did it with Viva Pinata. Do you remember that on the 360? Like,
Oh
so-
god, that was brilliant as well.
Yeah, when Viva Pinata dropped, I bought it, and at the time it was for my girlfriend, and I was like, oh, she was like, it looks cute. I was like, yeah, cool, you might want to play it, who knows? And so I just started it off for her, as you do. And then like the next day, I'm like, how the hell do I evolve this thing? How do I get this in my garden? What's going on? And I'm just like, right. And I was the first game I ever got a full 1,000 gamer score off. I was completely obsessed for a while.
Fantastic. So no, it was a classic game, and one that I'd imagine they'll bring back as a bit of a reboot at some point. So, but maybe we'll talk about that a bit later. So, just to sort of cap this bit off, as per usual, please, whatever service you're listening on, whether that's on Spotify or Apple Music or Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, wherever it is, please subscribe, to make sure that you get the episode every week, because it's really great to see it when people are doing that. And it's nice to see which parts of the world we're starting to get people to listen. It really does mean a lot, because we really enjoy doing this, and we do only do it for fun, but it is nice to know that we're not just doing it to no one. And of course, please follow us on Twitter as well, at Unnamed Games Pod. And, we tweet a few little things up there. We don't have many followers at the moment, but the more people who get on board, the more stuff we'll tweet. So I'll leave that there, and we'll be back after this break with the news.
I'll kill you all. I'll drive you crazy and I'll kill you all. I'm every nightmare you ever had. I am your worst dream come true. I'm everything you ever were afraid of.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back after that short break, and it's time for the news. So, first off, Cyberpunk release date has been delayed again for another 21 days. So it's now set for release on December the 10th. So I really wanted to kind of have a chat with you guys and see what your thoughts are and how you're feeling about it all, because there's been some very polarizing opinions, more than I think anything has polarized anything in games on the internet ever. With this, it's been pretty rough, really. So I'm going to go over to Ratley first. What do you think about this whole scenario?
Well, let's not mince our words. This sucks. I mean,
yeah,
it is without question. I mean, there's going to be exceptions. I say without question, there will be exceptions to this statement. It's got to be the most anticipated game of the year, like across the board, realistically. And CD Projekt Red have been doing their best to hype us, as well as every other source of media there is. And I, for one, was super looking forward to it. I had some holiday booked off. I was like, yeah, get my Series X, and a few weeks later, I'm going to be playing some Cyberpunk. Oh, yeah. And the reality is, that's still exactly what's going to happen. I'm going to get my Series X, and a few weeks later, I'm going to be playing Cyberpunk. I'd much rather they took their time to do it and do it right. It sucks. It sucks more that they'd been saying to people the day before. They see it on Twitter, it's definitely happening. You can book your time off work. We get it, 100%. Definitely coming. And the next day, yeah, we're delaying it. It's like, come on, man. Don't be so. It's 100% confirmed and locked in. If suddenly it's not, you've got to delay it for 21 days. It seems unlikely that that time frame measures up, and they didn't know there was a delay potentially on the cards, and they were replying to tweets the day before going, hey guys, and if they did know, why didn't they tell them as social media guys to go, let's just call it on the confirming like the date, shall we guys? It's cool, just wait.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's a difficult situation, isn't it? Because reality is we want that game to be as good as it can be, but we want it now because we're all used to getting it now, and they need a little bit longer to polish it. I say give them a little bit longer to polish it. I mean, there's a lot of rumours on the internet about why it's been delayed. We will never probably know the truth. I find it difficult to believe that probably isn't the case. I think my exact words to you guys when that first came along was, I bet you these are the reasons it's going to get delayed, and the internet has somewhat confirmed that. But I don't know. It's a tough one. I am a little gutted, but by the same token, I managed to shift my holiday, so I don't really care that much. I'll be playing it on holiday when it releases. It's just a bit of a shame it's got to be delayed a little bit. But
yeah, I think, CD Projekt Red have been one of those studios. They're very kind of pro-consumer. They've always, back in the days, they had no DRM on any of their games. They've always been very much about the gamer and trying to be as open and honest as they can with everything, which is great, but I think it's maybe potentially kind of bit him in the arse a little bit with this one.
Oh,
but,
100%.
Yeah. So, but I think moving over to Phil, what are your thoughts on the whole situation, mate?
Wah! I don't want to wait.
Same as the rest of the internet, then.
Basically, yeah. No, I'm very much of the opinion that if they need more time, let's just give them more time. You're right, it's a hugely anticipated game, and it does suck with delays, but you know what? I want to play it when it's ready, and I want to play the best version of that game, which in theory will be the Xbox Series X upgraded version, but I don't want to wait that long. I don't want to wait any longer now. So, yeah, I think, if they need an extra 3 weeks to finish the game, Give them an extra 3 weeks. I mean, I can't see how 3 weeks in the grand scheme of however long 5 or 7 years they've been developing this game is going to make all the difference. But if that's what they're saying they need, I say let's give it to them.
Yeah, we don't develop games, do we? So we don't know. It must just, maybe it is just a tweaking of settings that they, lock in on. As Ratley said, with some of the rumours coming out that it's potentially to do with last or current gen consoles, should I say, as we're on that cusp.
Yeah, I can see how it's very likely to be related to the older gen consoles. I mean, it's such dated hardware. Even when they came out, they were still dated. So there's got to be a real challenge to get a massive, seamless open world to run on these 7-year-old boxes.
Yeah. Well, I know that your lovely husband is very, very excited for this game, Ellie. But are you planning on getting it yourself? And how about you? What are your feelings on it? Is it something you were looking to get? Are you bothered? What's the deal?
It's not something I would have got straight away. I will definitely be watching Alan obsessively playing it, but I would end up getting it probably when it's on sale later on. I'm not much for having everything the second it comes out. But from CD Projekt Red's standpoint, I can't really blame them, to be honest. They've got a lot riding on this game. And the expectation is huge. And can you imagine what would happen if they released a game that wasn't really ready and was buggy as hell? I think you can all attest to how depressing it is to get a game that is barely playable because of bugs, etc., and issues, and then having to wait until that update comes out in a few months' time and that. So I think they're making a wise move, to be honest. Yes, they're being brave and having to tell their consumers, sorry guys, we're not actually ready yet. But when it comes down to it, I think it's the wiser move in the long term to actually release that game to make sure it is the best it can possibly be.
Yeah, I think I agree with you there personally. Anything you want to add on that, Ratley? I see you got your hand up.
Yeah, no, I was going to say I think that's what Ellie said is like spot on, because if you think about let's just talk about one this last generation, one big release that just massively underperformed in terms of that, and it was because of bugs and not feeling really finished, which was Mass Effect Andromeda, right? Now Andromeda was never going to be the standard of its predecessors. Don't get me wrong, like. I've always said, I maintain that, like, at its core, Mass Effect Andromeda isn't a terrible game. It's just it's not as good as the rest of the Mass Effect series, and it has a very high bar to be judged against. But the launch of Mass Effect Andromeda was a total mess. Some of the facial animations and glitches and bugs that were in that game, which if it had taken like a couple of months as it transpired, after release, they managed to patch almost all of them out of the game. If they hadn't been there, that game would have taken a lot less flack, and we'd probably been able to see the actual reasonably good game underneath, And I think exactly what Ellie said. If CD Projekt Red released this game and it wasn't working properly on any platform, so even if it is just the last gen machines or current gen machines, however you want to look at it, even if it was those, if it runs badly on PS4, for example, we don't know. It could be just Xbox One. It could be Xbox One and PS4. If it ran badly on the PS4, how many people are going to be buying that game on a PS4? And they'll just be like, CD Projekt Red, this game is complete and utter crap. Blah, 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 blah. I mean, I know they had the same problem with The Witcher 3 when it launched particularly on PS4. There was a huge issue with, for some reason, it ran really badly on PS4. I don't exactly know the technical reasons for it. And they got a lot of grief for that. I mean, admittedly, they've proved themselves by patching out The Witcher and it's now brilliant. But think how difficult it would be for them to recover on this one, like Ellie said, of all things. Andromeda was small fry compared to Cyberpunk, and it would really, really hurt them, I think.
I think the only other thing that's out there in the gaming industry that can kind of compare to how much hype's behind Cyberpunk is probably GTA. That's probably arguably bigger potentially, but there's no other game that gets anywhere near GTA, and I think Cyberpunk is really up there.
Or Elder Scrolls 6.
Everyone's Elder Scrolls,
there's going to be a lot of hype for that game as well.
I would say GTA and Cyberpunk are probably up above Elder Scrolls, because Elder Scrolls, I think the reason for that would be the state of the last few Bethesda releases. I know Alan's touched on this before in the podcast. Like, there's definitely been a bit of a quality dip, and I think that's tempered the enthusiasm for Bethesda releases in general. But yeah, I can totally say, they've got to be spot on these things, haven't they?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, so the next kind of point that I wanted to cover on this, that it's a horrible thing. I don't really want to talk about it because it's just disgusting, and I'm sure nobody will have any other opinion than the same one that I have on the death threats that have been sent to the developers of Cyberpunk 2077 over the delay of a game. It's disgusting, and when I think about it, it almost makes me ashamed to call myself a gamer, because the thought that potentially somebody might pigeonhole me in the same place that somebody like that would do something like that. It's disgusting. I mean, talk about first world problems. You've got to wait another 21 days for a game. Absolutely pathetic. And I just. It just despise it. It's awful. I mean, Ellie, have you read much about this? Have you got any thoughts on it?
Yeah, I mean, I just find it pathetic, really, just like you say. I can't believe that in this day and age people would resort to that. And why? Because they feel so entitled to get something right now rather
Yeah.
than waiting a whole 21 days. Wow, what such a mild inconvenience to your life. I mean,
Yeah.
to be honest, I just can't believe it, really. I was shocked even reading the articles about it. And I can't believe that, to be honest, the CD Projekt Red had to defend themselves on it. For me, it should be non-news, and in a way, I don't think they should be reporting on this. I think it should just be ignored that people are behaving this way, because that'll just be more media attention for them, and they're getting exactly what they want, right? Attention.
Yeah. I think you're. Yeah, it's it's just it's awful. It's disgusting. Absolutely. I even got to the point where I actually wrote a tweet. I just thought, you know what, I'm going to write a completely opposite tweet, just to side point to it. No, they'll probably never read it, but I thought, you know what, I just want to kind of balance that yin and yang. Just saying, I heard you've had some horrible things said on Twitter. Just want to say, I can't wait to play your game. I know you guys have worked super hard on it, and great work so far. I can't wait for it. Just something really positive I wanted to send. And like I say, I don't think anyone will ever read it, but I feel like I've tried to balance the equilibrium there a little bit. But so Phil, what's your thoughts on the situation, mate?
Pretty much the same as yours. It's absolutely disgusting. I mean, obviously, when I go shopping to Tesco's and buy some eggs and I come back and one of the eggs is broken, my first thought is I'm going to write a death threat to Tesco's. It's the first place I go. I'm like, that was deliberate. They've done it. They've broken my egg. I'm going to write them a death threat and I'm going to get the person. No. It's ridiculous. Like how we've reached that point in modern society where people think it's acceptable to send death threats to a video game studio because they're getting the game 2 or 3 weeks later. It's just, like you, Craig, I feel like it tarnishes it tarnishes gamers as a whole. Like, particularly people outside of the kind of gaming demographic, like maybe parents that are buying games for their children. If they were to read an article like that, suddenly that tars the whole kind of gaming industry, and it's just a very small select few people that are just it's just ugh. It upsets me.
Yeah, so Ratley, I mean, again, going to you, I'm sure you've probably got nothing different to say, but what's your piece on this?
You know how impassioned and how volatile I can be sometimes, shall we say, on certain subjects, and I'm really going to have to bite my tongue and not say what I want to say on this, like in terms of how opinionated and how strong my language could become about these kind of people, because I could use terms like pond life and scum and just all sorts of things, but they ain't anywhere near strong enough to how I really feel about these people. It's this horrible thing that the internet and the power of anonymity of something like Twitter, where you can make up a stupid name, put on a stupid profile pic, and then you can be as abusive as you want to somebody because you've got that ability to be anonymous. You're never going to have to face that person, look them in the eyes, and understand what you said and what you did and how much it's impacted those people. Like, it's not just developers who are getting this kind of stuff. There was with The Last of Us 2, there was a whole bit where the girl who voices Abby, who also voices Kate in Gears of War 5, right? She's a voice actor or an actor or whatever she is. Whether she does physical acting work or voice acting work, she's an actor. She is someone who's paid to pretend to be somebody else, and people are giving them death threats over what the character she was paid to portray did. It's like, are you people actually right in their head? What is wrong with you? They are not that person. And I mean, this isn't a new thing. To be fair, I've heard of it like in the past with old movies where people played villains and received like lots of like nasty letters, etc. But the power of something like Twitter has opened the floodgates on this, and unfortunately, we've got idiots who feel that they're entitled to say these things to people and not have any repercussion on their actions. Get them off the internet. Stop them playing games. Stop them doing it. Just do one. Just absolutely do one. I can't be bothered with it.
Yeah. Well, I know I speak for everyone here, and even though Alan's not on, I know I speak for him as well. But everyone here definitely condemns any of that, and all those people who have done that. You should take your gaming machines, whatever you play on, go and set fire to them, and never touch them again. Never go on the internet again.
Never call yourself
exactly.
a gamer.
Yeah. Anyway, we're going to move on from that because that's a horrible thing to talk about. Anyway, the next piece of news, moving on to another big game and big franchise, talking about Halo Infinite. So obviously that's been in the news a lot recently. It was supposed to be coming out with the Series X. Even Master Chief's face is on the back of the box of the Series X, but he's not going to be with us. So another bit of news that's come out is that Chris Lee, one of the project directors, has left the project. We know recently, or a few months ago, they'd brought on a veteran Bungie employee from years ago who worked on the original Halos in to kind of help steer the ship back in the right direction because they were having some issues. What they are, we don't know. So I guess this is a good point to kind of open up to everybody, really. You know, if you want to talk a bit maybe about some of those rumours, any kind of speculation, and I'm going to go over to Phil first and see what you think, mate.
I'm quite concerned, if I'm honest with you. That worries me because, I mean, I know they've pushed the game till 2021, but to be rotating the people at like the very top of the tree, so to speak, who are guiding the Halo Infinite experience, and to have somebody leave. I mean, so they had two people leave before. If I remember correctly, it was Tim Longo and was it Mary Olsen, who were like the two of the leader. I looked it up earlier when I was doing my little research on this just to make sure I had some key information there. Probably should have written it down to make sure I got the names right. I'm pretty sure they were the two kind of creative directors that left sort of, I think it was about 18 months, 2 years ago for the Halo Infinite project. And they brought the guy from Bungie in. And then now they've got Chris Lee leaving as well. And it leaves me wondering about particularly the single player campaign content, because that's the bit they really needed to get right after Halo 5. Because I think we can all agree Halo 5 multiplayer was brilliant. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It played excellent. It was just a great experience, the multiplayer. But the story and the direction of it was a little lackluster, and the way it was told. So, yeah, I think at this point it just leaves me concerned for the outlook of Halo Infinite. I mean, if they're bringing in a new creative director again, are they going to have to rechange the direction of the game? Is that likely to then result in more delays for Halo Infinite so they can get the game to the standard that they want it to be? Possibly, very likely. I mean, as far as I'm aware, they haven't confirmed an actual date in 2021. They've just said 2021, haven't they?
They have, yeah.
Yeah.
Just said 2021. I think, just to kind of cap off if you want, I've almost got kind of a polarising opinion to what you've got there, really. I think, for me, I almost think this is a bit of non-news, personally. Again, none of us know. This is all just speculation. But, a project director, they were at a point where they were ready to release that game, and then they got loads of backlash around the graphics and how it looked. It wasn't going to have ray tracing initially. We had delays because of COVID and things like that. And they have developed a whole brand new engine for this system. Now, I think potentially we're in a situation where that project director probably doesn't have anything left to do on the game. They've probably got the directional set. They know the game's all done and all working and ready to go. They've just got all of the art teams working and all of the engineers working on creating the best type of graphics and, designing new characters or putting ray tracing and things like that. So I'm not worried about it personally. I don't think that it's a bigger issue as possible. We don't know specifically what each person does as a role there. But I think it's probably more that kind of way.
I like your spin on it.
Yeah.
I want that to be the case. I want it to be the game is got an amazing story, it's well written, it's well voice acted, and they're just putting the spit and polish on Chief's new armor so it shines with the 8 times ray tracing and everything like that. I really hope that's the case. But it does worry me a little bit. Normally a creative director will stay on till the end and guide, every part of the game. But
yeah, I mean, I'm ever the optimist, Phil. But
I'm gonna hope for your suggestion, and I'm gonna be the pessimist and say, we might be waiting a long time in 2021.
Well, we'll see. We'll see, won't we? It's yeah. So, I mean, Elli, is it something you're excited about getting, and does this concern you at all?
To be honest, I'm not particularly concerned by it. I would say, reading his statement about the reasons that he left, he's just said that he's been purposely vague about it, of course, saying that he feels like he's done as much as he can with the projects, etc., etc. And he is still working with Microsoft. It's not like he's completely cut all ties. So that doesn't make me suspicious from that side of things. I think it's too big of a game not to get right. And I think, the Halo series, like you said, Master Chief's face is on the back of the Xbox, right? Okay, you're not getting it quite when we thought we were going to get it, but I don't see really any issues going forward with that. I think they will get it right, and I'm more on your side, Craig. I'm afraid, with the optimism.
Love it.
That's
My
fine.
fellow optimist. It's
Keep
great.
the
Yeah.
optimism.
Okay, I'll keep optimistic.
It's infusing me with optimism so I can look forward to it and not worry.
So, Ratley, what camp are you in? Are you the optimist camp or are you the pessimist camp? Hello, Ratley, can you hear us?
He's so enthused with positivity.
I was reading stuff. I was reading stuff and keeping myself amused. I forgot I muted
Researching
myself.
while online, awesome.
Yeah, I was like reading stuff, going, oh yeah, okay. No,
we're professional lot on this podcast, aren't we?
Yeah, we are slick, mate. As I was saying to you earlier, when someone said to me, "You sound really professional," I was like, "You have no idea how professional we are." Proof right there. So basically, I'm kind of in this weird middle ground where there's a bit of me that's genuinely with Phil and really concerned about what this says, because it starts to feel like there's been a course correction or a shift in where they're going with it, and that gives them not a lot of time to do what they want. Now, obviously, that could be a quite severe course correction, and we could have a ton of work to do to get Infinite to where it needs to be or where it's expected to be. Or it could be, we've got the sort of ground of a really great product here. Let's just tweak it, twist it, like change a little bit of tack here, and we could be right on the money. What worries me more is the fact that they brought in the ex-Bungie guy, Joseph Staten, wasn't it? He came in.
Yeah.
Now, he was obviously the former lead writer and cinematic director on Halo way back in the day. You don't bring someone like that in to do little changes. If he's coming in, I have a funny feeling Microsoft have looked at this and gone, the fans hate it, everything they've seen, blah, 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 we've been ridiculed, you need to sort this out. And it wouldn't put it past me if Microsoft weren't go, well, 2021 and 2021 around, they go, yeah, it's been delayed till 2022. I think what Elli said is very right. I think it's too big to fail for Microsoft. This has to be right. I don't think that Microsoft want to get another Halo wrong. If you look at Halo 1, Halo 2, Halo 3, it was one of the biggest Halo 3 was the biggest entertainment launch ever in the world at the time. It was an event. I remember that distinctly. I had to work that day and I was absolutely livid because I couldn't be at home playing Halo, right? And I also remember that, like, I have my copy of Halo ordered from Game and it showed up and the tin was all wrecked. I was fuming when that happened, like on
the
anger
wound
on top
is
of
still
anger.
raw.
Yeah, and then Halo 4 rocked around.
And he carries many of them.
Yeah, I can rant, trust me. Let's not go down that rabbit hole. But then Halo 4 rocked around.
Don't start him off, Phil.
Yeah, shut up, Phil. It's like,
Android phones.
Stop trying to say something. So Halo 4 was the first disappointing Halo, and it wasn't terrible. It had a good story, but it was definitely not as satisfying as a Halo game. And then Halo 5, like I've forgotten how many times the multiplayer, like you say, was awesome, but the campaign was a phenomenal letdown through some really poor design choices. And I think that Microsoft are listening to this and going, the multiplayer is the bread and butter where we make the money with the microtransactions, etc. But the campaign has to be there, or it gets ripped apart at review scores. Not as many people buy it. It's our flagship marquee title when it's got to be on the money. Whereas, you have to look at how well Sony have landed their marquee titles in the last generation and how much positive it's done for them. For Microsoft to have fluffed 2 Halo launches, they've got to get this one right. I'm due. So there's that little bit of me that's like very negative and like thinks they're going to do this massive course correction. But there's also this thing about me that's like on that same thing goes, yeah, but they brought the dude back in who did like the old school Halos in Bungie. Like that's a wicked thing. And if this guy has taken a step back because they're going to push that guy forward with a new idea, maybe more in that classic Halo way, hey, I am all for that. I actually said when I saw Infinite, right, my first impression of Infinite, yeah, the graphics were a bit iffy. It wasn't the greatest thing I'd ever seen graphically, but it looked like old school Halo, right? And I instantly said to my friend, I said, that looks like a Halo game I want to play in terms of gameplay. Yeah, the graphics aren't all that, but that gameplay is what I want. That looks like Halo, whereas Halo 5 felt like kind of chunky Call of Duty, if you know what I mean. It didn't feel like Halo. And I would love to go back to that old school that super soldier feeling that you get from Halo. You know, if you like Combat Evolved, like there's just points where you're just running forward, gunning down everything, and you feel like you're a Spartan, right? And it's badass. But whereas, you know, the Halo 5 just felt like I'm a guy with junky weapons. You know, it was a bit bland.
I thought
for me.
Halo 5 had some really cool add-ins.
Well, it
Like I
had some
particularly
great
liked
bits.
the
You know.
drop attack that you could do with the boosters and the Spartan like charge.
Yeah,
I
there was
thought
some
they
cool
were really
stuff.
cool additions.
But it didn't feel like the idea was great, and I think there's been a lot of like 343 have been the home of really good ideas, really poor execution. In my opinion, and don't get me wrong, like I have enjoyed them all, but there's definitely a quality drop off since Halo 3 or Halo Reach, whenever you want to say, since Bungie left it, and I don't want to be that guy that says, "Oh, 343 are rubbish," because they're not. They've made some great games, and I still think like Halo suffers a bit from the same thing as Mass Effect Andromeda did, right? Halo 4 is great, Halo 5 is great, but they're not Halo 1, they're not Halo 2, and they're not Halo 3, which are far better games. And I think that's the worry is, you know, they're not that standard. So I think that Microsoft want to get this right, and they'll take the time to do it. What this means,
Yeah, I think, my take, you know, slightly different from your take on, you know, going the 343 Halo games. I mean, Halo 4, I think, had a really great campaign. I thought it was brilliant. You know, some people didn't like it. I think overall it was relatively well received, and I really, really enjoyed that. It was the multiplayer in Halo 4 that had really lost the Halo-ness about it. So I think then they've almost swung completely the other way with Halo 5 and gone, right, we're going to make sure we nail this multiplayer, which they did. It was wicked, but the campaign it had no real organic flow to it.
do you know,
you had such a great like marketing campaign, the whole Hunt the Truth podcast they did for it, the story leading up to it. It was really just so involving. I was so drawn in. I was so hyped for Halo 5.
Yeah, same.
The game started, and it was nothing to do really with any of the marketing or anything
Exactly.
they'd done. They just, you know, I mean, I happen to be a big Halo fan, so I knew who Blue Team were. But if you didn't know who Blue Team were, they were just a bunch of extra Spartans running around with Master Chief. Who the hell are these guys running with him?
And it wasn't
you know,
that. It was the whole thing of like, you know, the whole marketing campaign set you up to believe that there was going to be this, this whole sort of scenario, and then that wasn't it at all, you know. And you're just like, what? And then on top of that, the really awful boss battles in Halo 5, which were just like, if I'd had to do it a couple of times, cool, but make me fight the same guy, that was awful. And I wanted to love Halo 5. Going back, I do love Halo 4's campaign. I really care. The end boss in Halo 4 is awful. I mean, just awful, the end boss fight. But the story, like the Didact, is one of my favourite Halo bad guys. It's like, I thought he was really interesting. And then to just unceremoniously off him at the end of Halo 4, I was like, really? I thought he was going to be like the cool bad guy for the trilogy. And he just offed him like that. It was like, oh, well, that's a shame.
Yeah.
Did feel like a little anti-climax at the end there, didn't it?
And the quick time event to end it was just awful. Not only that, but the quick time event that prompts you to push the wrong button.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I'm just gonna pretend I have a clue what you're talking about, right? Having never played it before.
Oh no, Ellie. Oh no, you've got to write that at some point. You need to get yourself through those Halo games. Have you played any Halo games before?
No, my Halo knowledge comes from Red vs. Blue, I'm afraid.
Oh, well, that's not
okay. Well, that's still cool.
Yeah, that's not such a bad
still cool.
I mean, but to be fair,
what we need to
Halo 1, 2, and 3 are just phenomenally good gaming experience. 1 and 3 for me were highlights. I mean, 2, I'm a controversial on 2. I thought 2 was a bit sort of treading the same ground too much, but 3 really ended that trilogy superbly, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think maybe we need to set up an evening. We'll get a bunch of us on, and we'll all play campaign together, Ellie, and get you in with us because it's well, you play. I think the first 2 are just split screen, so just do it. Play them with Alan, and then when we get to Halo 3, we can have 4-player co-op. We'll all jump on, get a bunch of us, and play together. I think you'll love it.
And you can watch me die repeatedly. Hooray!
We'll protect you. It's fine. Brilliant stuff. So, I mean, it's been a pretty light week in terms of news. There's not been a huge amount going on, you know, this close to the launch of the Series X and PS5. You know, most of it's been kind of announced now, and it's just constant drabs of the same sort of stuff and iterations on things. So not a huge amount more to go on to. So I think we're going to leave it there for the news. We'll take a short break, and then we'll be back with the talking point. We'll see you in a tick.
There's something very important I forgot to tell you.
What?
Don't cross the streams. Why? It would be bad.
I'm fuzzy on the whole good-bad thing. What do you mean bad?
Try to imagine all life as you know it stopping instantaneously and every molecule in your body exploding at the speed of light.
Total protonic reversal.
All right, that's bad.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back after that short break. We're now on to the talking point. So the first one for today is about the Xbox Series X, a fridge. Oh, that's right, the fridge. I'm sure you've all seen it on social media with various people getting these things delivered. And the question is, would you want one? I'm going to go to you, Ellie. Would you like a nice chunky Series X fridge in your kitchen?
I want one so freaking badly. And the Xbox dishwasher and toaster and washing machine or anything else, actually.
Haven't you got black cupboards in your kitchen?
No, but I would want them.
There you go, look.
and, you know, we can move out of the kitchen, right? You know, because it's so huge, it's probably my house isn't big enough, but it's fine, it's fine. The entire kitchen can be a fridge because it's got a green light on the inside.
Awesome stuff. Love it. Yeah, I think, again, I think I would love one of those fridges. I do have an American-style fridge in my utility room. However, it's definitely not as big as that beast that they've been sending out. So I think if I put that in place there, you actually wouldn't be able to get out the back door, but it's something I'm willing to sacrifice. We'll just use other doors. It's fine. It's fine, really.
Fine.
So.
I mean, I think it would actually be my entire kitchen, but it's fine. Yeah. We don't need it. It's fine.
It's an Xbox fridge, man. You know what I mean? So
I think they're really missing a beat, though. Why aren't they selling them?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, that's it.
Well, you say that. Well, you say that.
Yeah.
So on the first point, Craig, do I want an Xbox fridge? Yes. Who doesn't want an Xbox fridge? Like, who wouldn't? I saw people on Twitter like, why would anyone want this? How stupid is this? It was a meme. Why are you doing this? It's like, because it's actually genuinely hilarious. That's why. And it's awesome, right? And when I saw it, when you open it, it plays a startup sound and it's got the green lights. I was like, yeah, this is the greatest fridge known to man.
It plays the startup sound when you open it.
Yeah, there's a speaker, and when you open the door, it plays the startup sound.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
oh my god!
I was like, could they have made this any cooler? Like, you know. So yeah, would I like an Xbox fridge? Duh. But on Ellie's point of why aren't they selling them? Aaron Greenberg tweeted out yesterday, I think it was, a little poll saying, just putting out there, but if we were to make Xbox mini fridges, how many of you would actually be interested? And I was like, instant click of take my money now. There was an option for depends how much it costs. I was like, no, take my money now.
But if it's a mini fridge, I can fit that into my house, right?
Well, yeah, perfect. I mean, it depends. If their idea of mini fridges is a mini version of what they've done, it might be a normal size fridge, right?
Yeah.
Or it could be actually the size of the Series X and you can fit one bottle of beer in it.
Yeah. To be fair though, mate, that would be a really cool beer fridge. Like, what's it?
That would
one
be.
bottle in. But it looks like an Xbox. Up yours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Christmas sorted.
Yeah. Go on then, Phil. I bet you'd have one, wouldn't you, Phil?
I've got to be honest. Is it very cool? Yes. Do I want one? No.
You start. Get out.
I don't. It's quite ugly.
What?
If it came down to it, like, so again, if the question was, would you like an Xbox fridge? I'm guessing, I know the cost of American style fridges. They're more than the current Series X costs. I'd rather they just gave me a free Series X. I'm just saying. And then I'll buy whichever American style I want to put in there.
But fridge.
Yeah, it's fair enough, mate. It's fair enough. I mean, at the end of the day,
if it was a mini fridge, I would have a mini fridge though, because that's just a cool accessory, and
to be fair,
I'd like it to hold more than one beer. If I'm honest,
I can see Phil's point there. To be fair, I couldn't house that fridge in the slightest. Like, there's nowhere I could put it at all. But I was like, if I win that somehow, miraculously, I'm putting up for charity auction. Like,
yeah. Yeah, totally. I mean, Phil, it's fine. Everybody has their own opinions. It just so happens your opinion is the wrong opinion, but we'll live with that. That's fine.
I hold that opinion very regularly on this show, it would seem.
Phil, don't worry, mate. I'm usually in that opinion as well. So.
Oh, no, only joking. No, I do get it. It's a massive beast, and you'd have to have a pretty large mansion to fit the thing in. I think I saw one YouTuber. It was a woman. I can't remember what her name was.
Justine was that one.
That's it, yeah. And she actually had it delivered into her garage because I really do think the size of it, they wouldn't have fit it in her house.
She actually says in the video, I can't get it in my house. It's too big.
Did she? Did she? Oh.
But she has a garage, so all is well. There is power in the garage. Yeah. That is problem solved.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. Right, the next topic we've got coming up, because that was a little brief, just a little fun one, really. About Series X game upgrades. So we have a big fan of Ark on the podcast. Oh, hold on. No, he's not here this week, is he?
Oh, no.
never mind. Sorry, Alan. But Ark is getting a 60 frames per second, well, upgrade if you like. So when it's going to run on there, I think it's on the performance mode, run at 60 frames per second. And I think
Is
Alan
it
from
really? I hadn't
it
heard
is.
this.
I bet you hadn't heard that.
You
It's
know,
like
I was
the
just
only
thinking,
thing we've been
actually.
saying in the house.
I was just thinking, actually, they were going to do that 60 frames per second upgrade, but since Alan's not on the podcast to champion it, they're just scrapping it, I've heard.
Oh, well.
What a tragedy. What a tragedy.
Oh, but yeah. So I think by the chats, he's been pretty excited, and I'm sure Ellie can or has verified that with that.
Maybe just a tiny bit.
Yeah. Will you shut up about Ark 60 frames a second and eat your dinner?
How many dinosaurs are there again?
Yeah.
Oh no!
Oh. Please, I got the co-op thing going just to try and just quell that. Please don't stoke the fire again, Ellie.
Yeah, go on. Twist that knife, Ellie. Twist the knife. Open that wound.
I could just visualise her face lit up from the flames with a sadistic grin on it. So yeah, but there's been some others as well. Obviously, Halo Master Chief Collection as well has got a host of upgrades coming with 120 frames per second on the multiplayer. Also increases to split screen and things like that as well, which is crazy. I think we talked about that last week. That still that game is getting upgrades, and also Gears 5 is really one of their flagships. You know, that thing's running on higher than ultra settings from the PC, and it looks pretty stunning. The bits that I've seen from it, you know, on YouTube, even with the compression, it's just looking better when you see it in the flesh. But my question really around that is, what games do you think need a really good? And again, this is much like the other questions we've asked, where it doesn't have to be bound by any laws of copyrights or this, that, and the other. Any game that you think would really need and really benefit from and really be great with a next gen upgrade. So I'm going to go to Eli first.
Thank you.
Ellie, sorry.
Well, I had a long think about this one, and it's not so much of a needing it, but it's something I'd really like to see. So I want to see what next gen actually means. I want to see what that, you know, how amazing that can be. So I was thinking about a game that already has amazing graphics and pretty much at the brink of what the Xbox could do, which is Red Dead Redemption 2. I think for me, that game is probably one of the closest that I've ever seen to real life, you know, especially when you're looking at like the characters' faces and things like that. And I would really like to see it go even further and just see what actually this next gen can do with it.
Yeah, I think that's a good shout, I reckon, because I mean, I think we probably won't get a next-gen upgrade. I reckon, knowing Rockstar, we'll just get it released again. Knowing what they're like, they're just, you know, it will be another 60 or 70 quid or whatever for the game again, but I think you're totally right. It's a stunning-looking game, and, I mean, that's on effectively I guess it's current gen now, but last gen hardware. And you know what they did with GTA 5 when that went from the 360 over to the Xbox One? The jump we got with that was great, wasn't it?
Yeah, and that's definitely something I would like to see, because I'm just like thinking back when you're in the middle of the country at those vistas, and it almost looks realistic now. Could you imagine how good the draw distance would be? I don't know all the specs or anything like that, but I can just, for me, that would just be like making something actually jaw-droppingly realistic.
Yeah, I think you're probably right there. Ratley, what's your 2 pence worth, mate?
Well, I think there was a couple of things that I mean, if I had a wish list, I'd like to see, and this is going to sound a bit weird because I'd like to see the original Division game like reworked on full next gen. And I know, like, that this, if you're a part of the Division community, it's been done to death that Division 1 looks better than Division 2, which isn't strictly true, but there was an atmosphere and a build-up to that game. And certainly what I'd like to see them do is take it and enhance it so it actually looks like the E3 demo. You know, that would be quite nice.
Yeah.
I think there was that whole world they created in that first Division. There was so much atmosphere, so much mood. The city was so incredible. Like, take that, rework it fully on next gen. We could, could see something like, I mean, I remember when we first played it, Craig, and we were like, oh my God, look, the footprints in the snow. And that was like so groundbreaking at the time. To go further and, like, you know, maybe just like take that even further up the ladder would be amazing, you know. That would be something which would make me a very, very happy man to see. It's never going to happen in a million years, but, you know, I'd love to see that happen. As for I think this has already been said. One thing I would like to see, which is a new game, actually. I think they haven't I think EA said it's not going to get any more love. Essentially, would be Squadrons.
Mm-hmm.
Squadrons would look amazing. I mean, I know it's amazing anyway, but the scope that's got to be even better than it is, right? It's just that'd be crazy good. Like, ray tracing in that and all that kind of stuff would be so good.
It's not it's not ridiculous either, because Frostbite is such a scalable engine, isn't it? You look at things like Battlefield 5. It's one of the very few first games that came out with any kind of ray tracing support, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, the Battlefield games always look superb. I mean, the Frostbite engine is incredible, right? And there was one other which I thought, if I could see it in next gen, would completely blow my mind, because it looked like Elli was saying. When you first saw it, you went whoa, and then the mid-cycle upgrade to it was like whoa, which was Ghost Recon Wildlands.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let's not talk about the sequel, but Wildlands, when I first loaded up Wildlands, I was like, this looks, and I had a 1S at the time, so I had all the HDR and all that stuff, and I was like, this looks amazing on my 1S. And then I got a 1X, right, and I dropped into Wildlands on a 1X, and I was like, oh my god, that's kind of pretty.
Yeah.
And it's one of those games that you can just shoot up in the helicopter high above the map and just look out and be like, yeah, this looks absolutely bonkers. That on next gen machines could be staggering, but it'll never happen, sadly. But it's a shame.
Yeah, I think something like that again is a really good kind of point that Elli made before about Red Dead Redemption. With draw distances and things like that. When you go up in that helicopter, the level of detail you get and over the distance of it, with a game like that would just make all the difference.
And because the change from OG Xbox to Xbox One X, Xbox One to Xbox One X was a huge in of itself, right? So amplify that again. That could be unreal.
Yeah, definitely. Right, Phil, what's your crack on this?
So I struggled with this. I took a long, hard think about it, and naturally I sort of circled back round to the games that I loved from older generations, and with no bars holds or whatever. If I could have anything, I'd want one of those, like one of the old Knights of the Old Republic games, all jazzed up again. But
that would be like a remaster, right?
Yeah, that's more like a remaster. So I kind of tilted away from that and had a good think about it. But again, along the Star Wars thread, what I'd like to see a Series X upgrade on with all the ray tracing, everything like that. I'd like to see it for Battlefront 2. Because do you guys remember the first ray tracing demo that they did? And it was on
Captain Phasma.
Yeah, exactly. Captain Phasma's armor. Now imagine how good that would look if they did the ray tracing on Battlefront 2.
Because that's
that game, it had such a good atmosphere. You're running through the tall grass on the Wookiee homeworld of Kashyyyk. Oh, it was so good. I really love that about that game. And the other one, I think I'd be really tempted to see an upgrade on. I'd like to see them do something with Titanfall 2, because that had a really great campaign.
Yeah. I'm so pleased you said that.
That would be another game that, you get that up to the 60 frames, you get the HDR, you get the ray tracing, get those really nice lighting effects that would make, the Titans look so good. It's another game I'd really love to see.
Yeah, rather than them putting out that for Titanfall 2, just to make sure they release a Titanfall 3, because I genuinely think now, after all the love that Titanfall 2 got, after it kind of commercially failed a little bit, just because EA put it out to death really in between Call of Duty and Battlefield, didn't they? But all of people going back and revisiting it when it's been cheap, going, oh my god, this game is incredible, and all the people that missed out on it, I think if they released a Titanfall 3, man, that
at the right time of the year.
Yeah, exactly.
Just so we're clear.
Yeah,
a nice
definitely.
February release. Take notes, EA. We want this game. We will buy it at the right time.
I agree 100%. And I'm so pleased you said Titanfall, because it was one of those ones where I looked at it and gone, God, I'd love to see a better version of Titanfall. It was on the list of many games. When we had to kind of narrow it down, I got to 3, and I was like, that's what I do. But Titanfall 2 was right on it, and I was like, oh, I really hope someone says Titanfall, because God damn, it's a good game. That's such a good game.
Yeah. So I was again sort of having a bit of a think about this one, and it was really difficult because there's loads of games that I'd love to see, a next generation, kind of upgrade to them. Things like the Dishonored series. I mean, they already still look great, but again, I'd love to see those kind of, with ray tracing and because a lot of that's hiding in the shadows and all that kind of effects and things that way. Things like Tomb Raider and stuff, but it really got me thinking about games like Fallout and Elder Scrolls, yeah, for example. So one of the things that really bugs me in an open world game like that is you'll walk into a village and you'll go into a house, you'll go to up to a house that you've got to go into, and you hit the button and bang, there's a loading screen for a tiny little room. And then when you leave it, bang, there's a loading screen to come, and it just totally pulls me out of it. And with the next gen, all the speed, with the velocity architecture and these super fast SSD drives that are in all the machines, that actually having these games, I guess it's almost kind of a remake, but something like Fallout or like Skyrim, sorry. You go up to that door, you hit that door, and it just opens, and you can kind of walk into it. Plus, having all of the kind of graphical extras on it as well. It's just always been a real bugbear of mine that's really taken me out of the experience. Every time I walk through that door, going, I don't want to walk back out again. I've already see another bloody loading screen. But, yeah. So yeah, it's kind of a cheat.
Yeah, there's a lot of other open world games that don't have that problem, though. I think that maybe is just a limitation of the Bethesda engine. So, again, back to my earlier comments, if Bethesda would stop polishing that turd of a game engine and just use something newer, we probably would get that.
Genuinely, as soon as he said, Bethesda, I was like, I'm waiting for it. We're going to get Phil Rag on the engine. We know it.
Can't help it, man.
It deserves it. It deserves it, 100%, mate.
It knocks me. Just try a bit harder.
Make something new. Maybe they've got a lot more money behind them now, so hopefully this will be what happens. They'll invest a bit in that engine.
Is Phil to rule them with an iron fist, and then we'll get the game that we want and deserve.
I am Emperor Phil. Taste my lightning.
And if anyone from Bethesda is listening, that's Phil's pitch for his new job role.
He's just
how to get in touch. I'm here
He's
all
after
week.
a very reasonable £250,000 a year to rule with an iron fist. Absolutely happy with that, aren't you, Phil?
Absolutely. I'm going to need a corner office, though, as well, with a good view. And one of them really nice reclining chairs with good lumbar support to get back problems.
God, your demands are unreasonable, man.
Oh, and a cup with my name on it.
The boss.
Exactly.
I thought it was Lord Emperor.
Yeah. Phil, we've got the game made. Okay, there's 2 loading screens in the whole game. Go back to the drawing board. Scrap the whole game, start again. But we've just spent 100 million. Go and spend another 100 million and make it with no loading screens. We can't. Then find
Man,
somebody
you missed
who
your
can.
calling. You missed your calling. You should have been a game designer, mate. You've got a knack for it.
Not designer. Director.
Director.
All the clever people make
Lord
the
Emperor.
game, and the people who can write amazing stories, they do all that.
Game Emperor.
I just make sure it doesn't have problems. Stupid things in there.
Isn't that quality assurance?
Yeah, sure, there we go. Phil, the iron-fisted quality insurer.
Assurance Emperor.
I think I've just took a significant pay cut there.
It sounds like the worst direct-to-DVD sequel for The Man in the Iron Mask ever made.
Yeah. Oh, great stuff. Oh, well, moving on from that carnage there, we've got one final point to talk about. And this is quite a good one, I think, to cap this off. So, what has been your favourite game of the year so far and why? And I'm going to go to Ratley with that one.
Oh, right. Well, I've spent a lot of my year playing one game, which isn't a game of this year. I still love, I keep mentioning it, The Division 2. Like, I spend a lot of time. And yeah, come at me. It's not the greatest game, but I enjoy it, so what? But when I was thinking, I thought Squadrons is brilliant. I really like Squadrons and this, that, and the other. But one game that, when I was looking down the list, there's a couple of things that stood out. Carrion was very, very good. I really enjoyed that as a little, short, little romp of a game. It was very much what it said on the tin. I enjoyed that a lot. But one game that when I stopped on it and hovered for a second, I went, do you know what? That is exactly what it set out to be. It's as good as it's going to get for that kind of thing. And I was like, yes, that game, which was Streets of Rage 4.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Because it was just
practically orgasmic.
It was just so. It was retro gaming brought up to modern, but perfectly, right? It still felt like Streets of Rage, but it had that nice modern coat of paint, and it was a bit slicker and a bit tighter, and it was exactly how you want that kind of coming back to your old memories be like. It plays like you remember the original Streets of Rage playing, and then you go back and play Streets of Rage, it wasn't this good. But then you go back to Streets of Rage 4 and go, but this is this good, Streets of Rage 4 was so on point. They just got it right. And I would play that game again and again and again just because I laugh. It's hard as
They nailed it.
Nobody's business, but yeah, that game is great.
Yeah, I've got a confession to make on that one. I still haven't managed to finish that game on my own. I
Suck.
can't beat the last boss.
It's hard, man. It is a hard game.
But yeah, I quite often pick up like the boys, and sometimes we'll just pick the controller. Let's have a quick game. We'll do a couple of levels, just run around, beat some street thugs up, and throw baseball bats at their head and stuff. Bloody brilliant game.
Wholesome entertainment for your kids there.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, it's cartoony. It's fine. So Ellie, so for you, what has been your favourite game of this year and why?
I think I may have already mentioned it. Has to be Animal Crossing.
Yeah, nice.
I don't consider myself a girly gamer normally. I normally play action adventure, beat 'em ups, RPGs, that sort of thing. But when lockdown hit, I figured, hey, why not? I'll download it. I liked the idea of it. The idea of this farming, easygoing game without any real purpose in it. I've tried previous Animal Crossing games and got bored within 5 minutes because there was nothing to do. So yeah, downloaded this game, and then I proceeded to spend the next 6 months of my life playing it.
Nice.
I got just completely and utterly obsessed with it. It was like an absolute compulsion in the end. I must go find fruit, I must dig fossils, I must go and find the new furniture.
Money well spent. I kept reading on
God, yes.
Facebook people putting up things about saying, "Oh, has anyone got this particular fruit for sale at a certain price?" There's a whole economy in it as well, isn't there?
Yeah, turnip exchange, basically. They're kind of like stocks
Turnip.
and shares. Yeah, you sell turnips at a cost. But normally I'm a miserable cow, and I'm not an online gamer. I'm very much a solo gamer. I like to play on my own only. And this has been the first game in a very long time I've wanted to have any sort of interaction with the community. Because after you've been playing for 6 months, you end up very rich and with a lot of rare items that you don't want. So I ended up being a bit of a barterer and seller online. And I had a good friend that was playing it with me, and we did a lot of exchanging, etc. But yeah, it was exactly what it needed to be at the time. I think obviously they couldn't have predicted this lockdown or anything, but it was just the perfect type of game to come out at that time when the people were stuck at home, not really much to do. And then this completely immersive game came out that had plenty to do. At no point did I ever get bored like I had with the previous games. There was always something to do. And I got a little bit excited for turning my island into a gothic paradise, of course.
Awesome. I can well imagine that with you.
Love it.
Oh, great stuff. Yeah, I've got to try that game out because I just heard so much about it, and Josh has got a Switch. Not that I really use it very often, but I always find there's always too many games to play and not enough time to play them.
Oh yes,
plight of being older, isn't it? But anyway,
yeah, you have to have a job, to pay for all the games that you want to buy.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And companies are just so inconsiderate and won't let us stay at home and do nothing.
I know.
It's crazy. I think we should overlord out there.
Yeah. Yeah, just get Phil running your company, and then maybe let you have a 3-day work week.
Fair enough.
Really, you really think Amazon needs to get any bigger or make any more money?
Right, Phil, it's your turn. What's your favourite game of the year so far?
So I thought about this, and it's definitely got to be Marvel's Avengers.
Get out.
No, I'm kidding. That's a
right.
colossal
Where's the kick
lie.
button?
I didn't even buy that game. It looked shameless. Oh god, no. No, I think the game I have enjoyed most this year that I really got stuck into and enjoyed was Ghost of Tsushima. I really enjoyed playing that game. I love the whole Japanese samurai. I love the way the combat felt in it. I love the look of that game, the aesthetic. It was really pretty. And they were right. It did have pretty amazeballs screenshot mode in there with live pictures and stuff. Oh god, I spent so much time. I looked at my PS4, right, and apparently I'd taken 7.4 gigabytes worth of screenshots and videos in that game. 7.4 gigabytes. How I got to that, I don't know.
That's
oh
impressive.
look, the sun looks so pretty. Oh, the moon. Oh no, I must take a picture of this.
Look at the papyrus grass drifting across the street.
I have to be honest, mate. I can completely relate because there's been so many times I've been playing because the Division's a very pretty game, right? Especially Division 2, where we just kind of stop and go, "Hold on, guys, time for a photo." I would get the photo mode out, and I was like, everyone's just like, "Yeah, he's taking another photo, isn't he?" It's like, "Yeah, I am." Cool.
Honestly, I'd be like, okay, I need to go over there, and I'd ride half of that. But, ooh, that's a nice, pretty, spooky looking one. I'm going to go take some pictures in there, and then there's Ooh, that's a nice, pretty field of flowers. I'm going to take a picture here. Ooh, that's a really nice, pretty cliff. I'm going to take a picture from here. And then I realised I've spent 40 minutes going from like what should have been a 5-minute ride on my horse from point A to point B. And now they've made it even more appealing because they've released that new co-op multiplayer mode on there.
That looks so good.
Which I've played a teeny tiny bit of it because I just haven't sat down enough to get into it. But they've got some really cool, like a really cool class system in there. Where you get different like special abilities. Yes, we should do that this weekend.
Yeah,
because I'm really keen to like level that up and see how it goes. And you unlock your abilities and stuff. It looks excellent. It's got the same aesthetic, but even more creepy. You'd love it, Ellie. I did the first level on that. And there's just pulsing hearts up in the sky that have replaced the sun, dripping with blood, and it's just got like a red hue all over the screen. Brilliant.
Oh god, I want to play it so much now.
Yeah. Honestly, just like look up like a video for like the first mission of the
You
Ghost
had
of
me at
Tsushima
bloody
multiplayer.
heart.
Oh, it's beating and pulsing up there, and then you get through and you open this crate up, and it's a crate of hearts harvested from twins born on Tsushima. Ugh.
creepy stuff. It's released at the right time, really, coming up for Halloween, I suppose.
Oh yeah, they nailed it with that.
Yeah. So no, I played that game as well, and it was I did really enjoy it. Again, amazing photo mode. The combat was really good. I really enjoyed what they did with it, but it just got old very quickly for me. I think I put about, I would say maybe 15 hours into it, and I think I probably got maybe 2/3 of the way through and it just completely ran out of steam. It sort of felt very much like a kind of a maybe an older Ubisoft game in the way they'd structured it. But that's just me, and I could totally see why everybody liked it. And there was so much that was great about that game. And like you said, the Legends add-on that they've done, what I've played so far is brilliant. And from what a lot of online reviewers have been saying, they're kind of sort of pointing the finger at Anthem and Avengers and going, right, these people have just released a free add-on DLC that is so much better than your complete games. Sort it out.
Yeah, I mean,
Let us not speak of that game beginning with A and ending in thumb.
Well, like I say, there's the one that starts in A and ends in or the one that's a thumb. It's like either one. Although, Ellie, if you haven't seen it, I'm not going to defend Anthem because it was thing, but they finally released some bits of 2.0, and it actually looks like they're actually doing a ridiculous level of work, and it will basically be an entirely new game. So it might actually end up being pretty good. Could also.
So why didn't they just release that game in the first place?
Well, because it looks like what are we now, a year and a half since launch of Anthem, and the reason they didn't do it, let's be honest, is EA went, that needs to come out now, and they're like, it's not ready. Yeah, but it's release it, but it's not ready. Release it, but it's not ready. Release it. Just okay, we'll release it.
Yeah,
because that's what EA
probably
do.
also like the
EA, I like
BioWare. It's not their kind of. That's not a type of game they'd ever made before. So they obviously just didn't get the right level of support and direction in there to get that kind of repeat part, that end game cycle.
It's very
correct
hard
on that
right,
game.
It is hard to get right. That I mean, we could go on that for ages, but I think I'm willing to give 2.0 on Anthem another go.
Yeah, me
because
too.
I think they're putting so much effort into that. It could be quite interesting, but we could go. This is complete divergence here, so let's not go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah. Well, I suppose I'll quickly just cap off with my favourite game from the year. And again, I had to think really hard about this because there's been lots of games I've played, lots of games I've enjoyed. But actually, if I was to narrow it down to one that I really, absolutely loved from the minute I picked it up and completely finished the game. Well, not all the achievements. There was a couple I missed, but, for me, that's a lot. I collected loads of stuff, done loads of bits in it. It was actually a game, I don't know who's played it, but Journey to the Savage Planet. Who's played that?
I've not even heard of it.
Haven't you?
The name rings a bell, but I couldn't tell you what it is.
I confess, it is downloaded on my Xbox to play, and I haven't touched it.
It is absolutely brilliant game. It has just got it's got this amazing quirky humour to it. Effectively, you land or crash land in this ship on a planet, and you have to go and catalogue sort of the animals and plants and things on the planet. But you have to also collect these fragments of, I think it's fragments of fuel or the engine, I can't remember now, that are around the map to kind of put your ship back together so you can leave. But it's kind of that, I guess it's kind of a Metroidvania type thing. It's all in 3D, but you'll go around the island and you'll start to unlock new abilities, which means you can climb up higher things or break down certain walls. And it's just an amazing exploring adventure game, a really beautifully realised kind of open world. It's not massive or anything. It's kind of an indie sort of title, I think. But it's absolutely brilliant, even down to there's these weird, like kind of round, like puffer chicken fish bird things. They're weird looking things. You just run up and give them a good kick and they go rah, flying across. It's just great fun. Everything about it is just really, really cool. So I think it is still on Game Pass. So I definitely recommend, download it and have a play because it is top fun. Absolutely brilliant. That's my top tip for the year. Oh. So there you go.
That has got me thinking though, Craig, before you start, that just got me thinking what we need to do at some point, we said this before, what we need to do is fire up Deep Rock Galactic, because that first time we played, I haven't laughed so much in years, and we need to play that at some point, mate, properly.
Yeah, cracking game, that one as well. Brilliant stuff. Right, well, I think that'll just about do for the discussion points for the week. I think there's been some good ones there, and we're going to take another short break, and we'll be back with our spooky quiz.
Take car, go to Mum's, kill Phil, grab Liz, go to the Winchester, have a nice cold pint, and wait for all this to blow over. How's that for a slice of fried gold?
Welcome back, everybody, after another short break, and it's time for the spooky quiz. So I'm going to pass you over to our guest, Elli. She's put this together for us, so we're going to see who comes out on top. So, Elli, what's this all about? Because we don't know anything about it yet.
Well, since it's Halloween, I figured I'd make a Halloween horror quiz for games. So I hope you guys are well versed on your horror gaming. I've watched a video, Craig, of you playing a horror game, so I can't wait to hear this. I believe there was a lot of girly screaming.
Yes, a lot.
Due to the fact it scares the pants out of me too, I suspect my knowledge will be sorely lacking in this area.
Yeah. I'm definitely with Phil and Craig on this one. I'm going to suck.
Well, maybe it'll be who sucks slightly less than the other two, right?
Well,
that's a reasonable way to gauge it.
Yeah.
Cool. So it's quick fire questions. Got 10 questions for you with a bonus question. So what I'm going to need from you guys is to think up your buzzer sound. So since it's Halloween, I want something suitably spooky. So, Phil, what have you got for me?
Boo!
I said spooky, Phil.
Ghosts go boo.
God.
Boo? I don't know.
You sound like Scooby-Doo.
That's brilliant. No, you got to keep that one.
Yeah,
boo.
It's boo.
Okay. Craig?
Boo.
Hold on. I need to compose myself. Oh. Right. I think mine will have to be...
You realise you're going to have to do that 10 times, right, if you want to buzz
it's fine. I can do that.
That was a little unsettling.
Okay.
It was quality. I was impressed, I've got to say.
I was going to say, that was quite unsettling. I think we have a new, future for the Joker here.
Wow. Okay. And Ratley?
I'm going to go with less spooky but more thematic and go Ghostbusters!
Yay! Nice. I approve. Very nice. All right. So you guys ready to start then?
Yes.
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Awesome. So question number 1. Nice easy one to start off with. Which Resident Evil playable character has appeared the most times in the Resident Evil games? Craig?
Jill Valentine?
No, I'm afraid not.
Dagnammit.
Well, I'm screwed. That's the only character I knew.
Boo.
Go for it, Phil.
Is it Chris Redfield?
No, it's not. You're
Leon.
running out of characters. Who shouted Leon?
I did.
Without
well
your
done.
buzzer.
It was He forgot his buzzer.
Well, I was the last one left.
No, anyway, yeah, you're correct. It's Leon Kennedy.
I see. I knew that. I guessed at a Leon. I thought it was a Leon, but I didn't know his surname. So I'll take half a point to be fair.
Yeah.
No, you knew his name. It's fine, Chris.
I've played 1.5 Resident Evil games probably a total of 2 because I played 1 whole one and 2 halves because they're too scary apart from Resident Evil 5.
God. So Leon apparently has actually appeared 6 times. So that's pretty cool.
Well, there you go.
Though my favourite character is Jill. Definitely Jill.
Yeah.
Okay, second question. So Layers of Fear, you may not have played it, but it's a really cool point-and-click horror game. I enjoyed it very much. What was the occupation of the main character? Craig?
I'm going to take a complete stab because I never played it, but I have seen the cover and stuff. With maybe a art collector?
Really, really, really close.
Or a painter?
There you go. Well done.
Yeah, I'm going to have that one.
Swine?
You should play it. I want to see a
guess is gonna be
video of you
dentist.
playing that.
Oh, yeah, you was. Honestly,
I didn't have a clue
I think
on
the
that
video
one.
you're talking about. Yeah, I remember playing. I think it was Alien. No, was it Outlast
Chernobyl or something.
Alien? Oh, Chernobyl. There is that one. Yeah, I think Jesus heck piss or something like that. I screamed. Yeah, I've had other ones where I was playing. It was Outlast 2. No, it was Alien Isolation. And the alien came along. I was stupid. I put the headphones on. It was really loud. I turned the lights off. Chris was sitting next to me. And as his alien came out, I screamed like a girl and threw my headphones across the room. And she was just pissing herself.
So,
I'm rubbish with them games.
Craig, on that, so on the just quickly, so similar story, but I played the Alien Isolation demo at Eurogamer just before it released, and I was so excited because, as you know, huge Alien nerd, and we're getting in the room, and I'm like, proper into it, and we're doing one of the little sort of short contained, get from point A to point B missions, and I'm doing that, and I'm like really stealthy, I'm being really cool, and I get to the point, I'm like, well, I need to get over there, and it's over there. I'm just going to run for it, and I do this like run, and like not completely forgetting that it'll hear me. Hear this noise, turn around like as it just leaps on me. Like I'm playing on this screen in a room full of people. I literally screamed as loud as I could, threw the controller at the monitor, and flew about 4 feet off the chair backwards. And then realised that I was in a room full of about 20 people.
And then had to try and act cool.
Yeah, it did that total thing where I was like, I'm cool. That wasn't scary.
Yeah, game's all right, mate. Yeah.
No, I was. And I asked the guy, I said, is that normal? He's like, I had someone nearly die on me when I touched them on the shoulder to tell them their session was up earlier. It's like, I was like, that game is terrifying.
Oh, I can recount a similar experience, although it was not me that screamed like a small child. Back when Dead Space 2 was quite popular, I was sharing a house with Sherman, and he liked to turn his headphones up loud, and he'd sit there playing on his thing and turn his lights out and stuff, but he'd never shut his bedroom door. I saw him playing on there. He was completely zoned in on the game. He had no idea. I literally sort of crept along the floor, got up next to him, still didn't notice, and just tapped him on the shoulder. He literally fucking shit himself. I mean, he threw the controller. He nearly fell off the chair backwards. He sort of jumped up after realising what was going on. There was a genuine look of like panic on his face, like he was being attacked or something.
Oh, brilliant.
I was just rolling on the floor laughing.
It's so much funnier when it's happening to somebody else.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, I don't know if he's ever forgiven me, and if he listens to this, he'll now remember to never forgive me for that.
Yeah.
I mean, that made my evening. It was magnificent.
Right, sorry, Ellie, we've gone off on a tangent. We're waffling again. Look, yeah, go on, Ellie.
Oh, well,
question number 3.
Okay, so question number 3. Everyone knows Rapture, the underwater city from the BioShock games, but what was the name of the floating city in BioShock Infinite?
Ghostbusters!
Chris.
Is it Columbia?
Well done.
It is.
Well done. I'm impressed. I had to look it up because I couldn't remember.
Oh, I love that game, though. That game is so good.
That was a hell of an environment.
The end of that game.
I never managed to finish that game, but
dude,
that was one of the really super pretty games at the time if you played it on PC as well.
Yeah.
Play it, mate. Play it.
Yeah, the end of that game, mate.
Finish
honestly, it is a moment of absolute, oh my God. That is incredible.
Cool. Yeah. So question number 4. How many killers are there available to play currently in Dead by Daylight? Craig.
I'm going to go with 7.
There's a lot more than that, mate.
No,
Ghostbusters!
Phil. Oh, no, sorry, Chris.
Is it 176?
Boo!
Oh, God, Phil.
Oh, I remember they added some DLC to this, and I've just been trying to count them in my head. I think it's 14, I want to say.
A bit more than that.
15? 18?
20.
Craig, go on.
20.
Oh, Craig, you're nearly there. You're nearly there, Craig.
21.
Boo, 22.
Whoever said 21.
Oh, me. Just give no one the point on that one. We didn't get that.
Whoever
we were
said
just
21
guessing
gets
random
the point.
numbers. Yeah. I said 21, but
we were just guessing at that point, yeah.
No, just leave. No one gets a point on that one.
Do you know what? I think maybe 14 was the opening
Ellie is
number
quizmaster. It's Ellie's quiz at the end of the day. She decides who gets points.
All right, then.
I'm still going to give one to Craig, because otherwise nobody's going to get any points, and that's just sad.
Yeah.
All right, this is a very specialist question, this one. I really hope all of you have played Dead Rising. Otherwise, I don't want to talk to you anymore.
What, the first one?
I've played
it.
Yep. I've played it.
Oh, good. So, what was the best weapon in the game?
Boo.
Go for it.
Was it the chainsaw sledgehammer?
It was the chainsaw, yes, you're right.
Chainsaw sledgehammer.
That was Dead Rising 3, wasn't it? Where you could make the chainsaw sledgehammer weird combo thing. And I know
And
that
Yes.
in
was in the third
4
one
as
as well,
well.
wasn't
Well, I got it. I got a promo from something which was like a pen, which was the chainsaw hammer combo. You'd like pull the chainsaw off and it had a pen on it. Like
Nice.
a hammer. It's quite
That's
cool.
cool. So, nice easy one then for number 6. Who was the developer and publisher for the Silent Hill series?
Boo.
I think Phil got in there just.
Capcom, wasn't it?
No. So,
Oh.
Craig,
Konami.
well done, mate.
Yeah,
Oh,
Phil,
of
how
course
did you
it
get that
was.
wrong, man? Oh.
I don't know. Idiot. Myself, that is.
Well, it's fine. I'll give you a stern talking to later.
I think my buzzer I did pick wrong because I have to like kind of gear myself up to get the noise to come out.
I told you it was a bad idea, dude.
Sounds good though.
Cool.
Plus, I need to keep having another drink.
Cool. So number 7. So in 2013 survey was run on Dorkly website. Who was voted the most popular Mortal Kombat character of all time? Craig.
Sub-Zero.
No. My favourite character, but wasn't voted.
Ghostbusters!
Ratley.
I'll go with Scorpion.
Oh, get over here. Well done.
Yeah,
So close,
Yeah,
just the
good
wrong
shout.
colour.
it was one of the two, really, wasn't it? It was.
They are
definitely one of
totally
those two.
different. Do not upset me. They are totally different
Well,
characters.
well, in terms of looks, it was always going to be like that or the other. But Get Over Here is the definitive Mortal Kombat move, isn't it?
Pretty much, yeah. Cool. So another guessing one. So the Castlevania series feels like it's pretty much gone on forever. Last year was actually the most recent game bought out. But what year was the original game bought out for the NES?
Ghostbusters!
Go for it.
1984.
Not quite. A little later. Craig?
1986.
Oh, so close, man.
Boo.
Go for it, Phil.
1991?
Earlier than
How
that.
far? Ugh.
1987.
Well done,
Boo.
Craig.
Oh,
Yes.
I didn't even want to take it away from Craig at that point. I was like, I could just say 1987.
He's so
It was-
close.
but, you know.
But you know what's really scary about that? Is that I was actually bought out the year before I was born.
What's really scary about that is I can remember it being released.
That is scary, mate.
you old man.
Which should have informed my decision better, given that, you know, my would have made me very, very young and probably not be able to remember it.
So number 9, Diablo 3, probably all of our favourite hack and slash games. So it was insanely successful. So how many different platforms was it released for in the end?
Ghostbusters!
Go for it.
I am going to say 7.
Well done, Ratley. First time.
Nice.
Oh,
Nice.
Well
Well,
done,
mate.
mate.
I was trying to count them in my head.
Yeah.
You did a really good job. So it came out on PC, came out for the Apple OS, PS3, PS4, 360, Xbox One, and the Switch. That's pretty
It
impressive
came
going,
out on
right?
iOS, did it?
It was Mac OS.
Mac.
Oh, Mac
Mac
OS.
OS.
Ah,
Yeah.
right.
Actually had a
of
Mac
course.
OS release, yeah.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I was thinking.
Could you imagine
iOS?
trying to play it on your phone?
Yeah, that's what I was
Do
thinking.
you know what though? Like, there's a load of those Diablo clones on your phone. You can play like Dungeon Hunter. It's actually really good fun. They're like, it's not obviously the same level as Diablo, but they're really good fun. Genuinely, they're really good.
Whatever happened to that Diablo mobile game they announced that got them
it's,
booed off
it's
the
still
stage?
coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still coming, I think, but it's just been delayed probably because of, you know, someone trying to like boo it or something. I don't know.
You know, being backburnered because they know nobody wants it because they just want Diablo
I'd be
4.
well up for it. It's like my problem was never that they announced it. I was like, oh, mobile Diablo, cool. I'm well up for that. Just don't make me think you're going to announce Diablo 4 and then go, it's a mobile game, and then go, why are you guys upset? Don't you have phones? It's like, are you seriously kidding me? Like, you're going to say that right now in front of all these people? How he made it out of that room alive, I'll never know.
Yeah.
He didn't. He was lynched in the back.
Yeah.
Cool, right. Final question then, guys. So, Zombies mode's probably taken over in popularity than the main Call of Duty games now. So, what game was it first introduced in? Craig?
It was Call of Duty World at War.
Wow, well done, Craig.
Boom.
Nice
Nazi
one.
zombies, weren't it?
Yeah.
Good work.
Fantastic.
Good work, Craig.
That was wicked, that game.
So the scores before the bonus question. So
I genuinely
Craig
don't know.
you're actually 1, Craig, with 5 points.
Sweet.
Yeah. Sweet.
Nice.
Chris second with 4, and Phil kind of trailing with 1.
I was too slow. My brain was
Well, to
not
be fair-
engaged in gear.
We could be equalising if there's a bonus question, couldn't we?
You could, so let's see how it goes. So I've heard a lot, right? And I understand everybody, this is your absolute favourite game of all time, all right? So, in the recent Fear Evolved Halloween update for Ark, how many new skins were released?
Ghostbusters.
Go for it, Ratley.
Was it 176?
76.
I get the feeling you don't know the answer. Is it not your favourite game?
I mean, I've got a lot of respect for the people who play the game, but it's not really my cup of tea, you know.
I need to talk to my husband, because this is not what I've heard.
Yeah, he's led you down the garden path there. I suppose we all need to take a guess then, do we?
Yeah, go for it. Have a guess.
I think it is 26.
Not quite. Phil, what's your guess?
I'm wondering whether to go lower or higher. I'm gonna go 18.
Wow, Phil, you were so close, man. It was 17.
No.
Oh.
We get a point for being
feel like
closest.
Yeah, give
I
him a
feel
point
like
for being
my
closest.
entire life views changed all of a sudden. I just don't know what's going on.
That's
My
the
husband's
that's the
You've
lied
whole
just been lied
reason.
to, Ellie.
I
It's the
know.
whole reason Ellie wanted to come on this podcast is purely just to drop that question at the end because she knew it was going to be 176 was the answer.
My answer to everything Ark related now is going to ask you, it's 176.
Yeah.
Do you like it? 176. No, I'm asking you if you
What's
played
the
it.
name of the
176.
dinosaur?
176.
176.
The 176 Rex. Oh, brilliant stuff. Cool. Right. Well, thank you ever so much for that, Ellie. That was really
Thank
good
you,
fun.
Ellie.
And I won one. That's awesome. Yeah.
That's good.
That was
Yay,
wicked.
well done, Craig.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, nice
No,
one,
thank you
Craig.
ever so much. Yeah. It's,
And I
it's
think
been-
you all
yeah.
need a bit more education in horror games, seriously.
Yeah.
I think
The
we'll
problem
I
is,
think
the
my
problem is
heart
Ellie,
takes
on
it.
that.
there is a huge problem with like educating us in horror games. It means I have to play them and they're scary.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the big problem. Right,
the big
so I
problem
think we've
is
had
the overcome.
a really good run this week, and we've not gone ridiculously over time like we normally do. Ellie's kept us in check, and it's been lovely to have her. And just to kind of recap again, please make sure you subscribe to our podcast, depending on where you listen to it. You know, we are again up on Stitcher, Spotify, YouTube, all those different places. So we upload every week, and we record on a Friday night in the UK, and then upload usually by about lunchtime on a Saturday. And please follow us on Twitter at Unnamed Games Pod, and that'll be it from us, really. And it's a bye from me. Bye bye. It's a bye from Ellie.
Bye.
A bye from Ratley.
Ghostbusters!
Oh my word. And a bye from Phil.
Boo.
Bye bye bye.